My name is not in here.
He forgot. He actually forgot. Who is Amber, Raymond?
Where did you find this?
The paper is already in her hands before she understands what she is holding. Victoria Calloway stands at the desk in her husband's home office, the same desk where Raymond has signed every major business deal of his career, and she reads the words a second time, then a third. The leather folder it came from sits open beside her. She did not go looking for this. She was putting away his passport after his last trip to Houston, and the folder was just there, unlocked, sitting on top of his files like it had been waiting. Last will and testament of Raymond Calloway. Her name is not in it, not once. Everything, the Atlanta estate, the 2 commercial properties in Buckhead, the investment accounts she helped him build through every market crash and recovery. All of it goes to a woman named Amber Nicole Reeves. A woman Victoria has never met. A woman who is 29 years old, according to the beneficiary details on page 2. Victoria's hand does not shake. That is the strangest part. She expected it to shake. Instead, something cold and exact moves through her chest, like a key turning in a lock she did not know was there. Then she sees it, bottom of page 4, a blank line, a witness signature line empty, no notary stamp, no second signature. Without it, this document is worth absolutely nothing. Legally, completely, entirely nothing. Raymond did not know she would find this. Raymond does not know she has found it. And Raymond does not know that the one mistake he made just handed her everything. Hi viewers, if you have ever discovered a truth that turned your entire world upside down in less than 60 seconds, drop a comment right now and tell us what you did in that moment. And if you are new here, subscribe and hit that notification bell, because this story is just getting started and you cannot afford to miss what happens next. Victoria closes the folder. She sets it back exactly where she found it. She walks to the kitchen, pours herself a glass of water, drinks it slowly, and begins to think. Raymond Calloway is worth $53 million. Victoria knows this because she built the spreadsheet that tracks every dollar of it. She knows the PIN to every account. She knows which properties carry a mortgage and which are free and clear. She knows his Atlanta warehouse lease renewal lands in 11 days, that his general contractor is a man named Dale, that Dale's daughter just started college and Raymond sends a check every fall semester because Victoria reminds him to. She knows Raymond's cholesterol medication gets refilled on the 20th of every month, that his dry cleaning goes out Mondays, that the liability insurance on the Buckhead property renews in 5 weeks and the premium jumped 9% this year. Raymond knows none of this. Raymond has never needed to know any of this. He comes home to a house that runs perfectly. He signs the documents Victoria prepares. He attends the meetings she schedules. He wears the shirts she launders and hangs. He takes his medication at the alarm time she sets. And somewhere in between all of that, he found Amber Nicole Reeves, hired a private attorney, drew up a secret will, and forgot to get it properly witnessed. Victoria sits at the kitchen table with her planner open. Her handwriting fills every single line, renewal dates, account numbers, contractor names, insurance contacts. 12 years of invisible work holding up a visible empire. He thought he was replacing her. He was handing her the complete blueprint to his entire life. She picks up her phone and calls her best friend, Denise. Not to cry, not to fall apart. She calls Denise because Denise is a family law attorney licensed in Georgia. "I need you to come over," Victoria says. "Bring your work bag." The line goes quiet for 2 seconds. "I'm already grabbing my keys," Denise says. Denise arrives in 25 minutes, reads the document once, sets it down, and says nothing for a long time. Then she turns to page 2. She points to a line Victoria had not focused on yet. The attorney who drafted the will. A name, Stuart H. Langford-esque. Denise looks up slowly. Victoria, her voice is careful. Stuart Langford handled a case I was opposing 2 years ago. The husband had been moving assets quietly for 3 years before his wife found out. She pauses. You do not hire Stuart Langford for a simple will. You hire him when you want something airtight and completely invisible. Victoria stares at the name. 3 years. She gets up without a word, walks to Raymond's home office, and opens the filing cabinet he has never once organized himself. The one she created, labeled, and maintained since they moved into this house. Behind his passport, behind his medical records, there is a receipt she has never seen before. A hotel in Nashville, 16 months ago, 2 nights, charged to a card she did not know existed. She carries it back to the kitchen and sets it on the table next to the will. Denise looks at the receipt, then at Victoria. How long has this been going on? Victoria thinks about the Dallas conference Raymond attended alone 19 months ago. The Nashville trip she helped him pack for. The new cologne that appeared in his toiletry bag last year, not the brand she bought him. Not even close. Long enough, Victoria says quietly, that he had time to plan all of this very carefully. She sits back down. And long enough that I had time to sign my name onto everything he owns without him ever once noticing. She picks up her pen. The list she begins writing fills the entire page in under 4 minutes. Raymond comes home at 7:30, and Victoria is already back at the kitchen table, planner open, pen in hand, looking like a woman finishing up a grocery list. He sets his laptop bag on the bar stool. The barstool Victoria has asked him not to use for his bag 15 times, and walks to the refrigerator. He takes out the plate she left covered in the pan, reheats it, sits at the table, and starts scrolling his phone with one hand while the other works a fork. He does not say her name once. He does not look across the table. Victoria watches him the way you watch a building you already know is coming down. Patient, certain, quiet. His phone lights up between bites. He tilts it slightly, just slightly, so the screen angles away from her. Victoria does not need to see the screen. She already knows the contact name saved in that phone because 4 days ago, while Raymond was in the shower, a notification came through and the name was not a client, not a colleague. It said babe. She said nothing then. She says nothing now. She lets him tilt the screen. She lets him believe the angle is enough. What Raymond does not know, cannot know, is that Denise spent 5 hours that afternoon pulling the full account trail on the card used at the Nashville hotel. It is a business card, registered under one of Raymond's LLCs, an LLC whose paperwork Victoria manages, which means every single charge on that card for the past 16 months runs through documentation Victoria has complete legal access to. 16 months of receipts, hotels in 4 different cities, dinners, a jewelry purchase at a Buckhead boutique, a lease deposit on a Midtown Atlanta apartment signed 8 months ago with Amber Nicole Reeves listed as the sole tenant and Raymond's LLC as the guarantor. He paid for her apartment with a card Victoria administers and filed it as a business expense. Victoria writes one final line in her planner, closes it. Her phone buzzes. Denise, the Midtown lease alone is enough. Call Patricia Greer first thing tomorrow morning. She is the best asset attorney in Atlanta and Raymond already knows he cannot touch her. Across the table, Raymond laughs softly at something on his phone. He does not look up once. Victoria caps her pen and smiles at nothing in particular. Tomorrow is going to be a very productive morning. She does not confront him in anger. That is exactly what Amber Nicole Reeves, whoever she truly is, would expect Victoria to do, scream, throw the folder, demand answers, break down in a way Raymond could manage and turn against her. Victoria does not give Raymond anything he can use. On a Wednesday morning, 8 days after finding the will, she sets a cup of coffee on his desk, waits for him to look up, and places the open folder in front of him. Page 4 facing up, the empty witness line impossible to miss. She watches his face do something she has never seen it do in 12 years, all the color leaving at once, his mouth opening without a sound, his eyes moving from the document to her face and back again. Something shifts in him fast. The panic hardens. His jaw sets. His shoulders pull back. 12 years of being the most powerful man in every room he has ever walked into, and the muscle memory fires even now. "You have no idea what you're starting," he says, low and flat, the voice he uses when contractors push back on his terms. "Everything in this house, everything you are standing in right now, I built that. Not you. Put that folder down and walk away while you still can, Victoria." Victoria looks at him for a long, steady moment. She thinks about the Nashville receipt, the Midtown apartment lease, 16 months of a hidden card running through her own paperwork. She thinks about Stuart Langford and the 3 years he spent helping another husband hide everything. "Raymond," she says his name once, quiet, absolute. "You built it with my hands, and you signed my name onto more of it than you remember." She picks up her coffee. She leaves the room. Behind her, she hears his chair scrape back hard. She hears him grab his phone. She already knows who he is calling. She already knows that Amber Nicole Reeves is about to receive a very difficult phone call. What Victoria does not tell him, not yet, is everything she has already documented about her name on his accounts. She is saving that for the next conversation, the one with attorneys present. Some information is too valuable to spend in one morning. The evidence is not loud. That is what surprises people when Victoria's attorney, Patricia Greer, lays it across the conference table 4 weeks later. It is spreadsheets, account records, 12 years of email threads in which Victoria coordinated every major financial decision in Raymond's portfolio. Her signature on 2 commercial property deeds as co-owner, signatures Raymond's original lender required, which Raymond apparently stopped thinking about the moment the deals closed. Her name on the investment accounts as joint holder, added during a 2020 liquidity crisis when Raymond needed a co-signer to move funds fast. He built the empire. Victoria held the structure together, and in doing so she embedded herself into it so completely that removing her will cost Raymond more than he ever imagined when he sat down with Stuart Langford. Patricia slides a 1-page summary across the table. Raymond's attorney, a man who has not stopped adjusting his collar since the meeting started, stares at the property deeds like he is reading them for the first time. Raymond stares at Victoria. She does not look away. She does not look angry. She looks like a woman reviewing paperwork she already made peace with 3 weeks ago, which is exactly what she is. "Your client's position," Patricia says evenly, "is considerably more complicated than he understood it to be." Raymond leans forward. "Victoria, let's talk, just us. We don't need all of this." "We are talking," Victoria says, "through our attorneys, the same way you planned your will through a process I was never part of." She pauses 1 beat. "Now you know exactly what that feels like." The collar-adjusting attorney leans over and whispers in Raymond's ear. Raymond sits back. He has no move left that Victoria has not already prepared for. The Atlanta warehouse lease renewal gets missed on a Tuesday. Dale, the contractor, has been calling a coordination number that no longer connects, the line Victoria managed. The Buckhead property liability insurance renewal comes and goes. The premium lapses. 6 days later, a water line fails in the building and the damage claim is rejected outright. Raymond calls Victoria twice. She does not answer. Amber Nicole Reeves moves into the Atlanta estate 3 weeks after the conference. She is 23 years younger than Victoria, and she is, by every account, completely unprepared for what she has walked into. The household staff, every one of whom Victoria hired, trained, and paid without a single missed payroll, begin submitting their resignations one by one, because their direct deposit runs through a household account Victoria set up, and Victoria has already contacted the bank. Amber texts Raymond about the staff, then about the Wi-Fi going down, then about the landscaping company that no longer shows up because the service contract was in Victoria's name. Raymond sits in his car in his own driveway and calls his attorney. His attorney tells him the property co-ownership situation will take time to resolve. He calls his accountant. His accountant tells him the investment account restructuring could take 4 to 6 months. He sits there with the engine running, going nowhere, because everywhere he needs to go in his own financial life Victoria has already been before him. Every system in the house he came home to every night is failing now, one by one, in the precise order Victoria built and maintained them. The house is still beautiful. Raymond built it, but he never knew how it ran. He is understanding that difference for the very first time. Victoria signs the lease on her Midtown apartment on a Friday afternoon. 3rd floor, south-facing windows. She viewed it twice before deciding, once in the morning to check the light, once in the evening to check the quiet. There is a small balcony where she places a potted rosemary plant, a cutting taken from the garden at the Atlanta house the morning she left. It is growing in fresh soil in a terracotta pot she picked herself. It is doing just fine. Denise helps carry boxes up on a Saturday. She does not ask Victoria how she is feeling. She asks which box goes in which room. She brings a container of her mother's chicken and rice, and they eat on the floor of the empty living room before the furniture arrives, talking about everything except Raymond, and it is the most comfortable Victoria has felt in 12 years. The legal settlement takes 5 months. Patricia Greer earns every dollar of her fee. Victoria walks away with a cash settlement, her share of both commercial property deeds, and the full balance of the joint investment account from the 2020 liquidity period, which, per the account agreement both she and Raymond signed, belongs to her as joint holder. Raymond does not contest the investment account. His attorney tells him not to. They both already know why. Victoria opens her own financial consulting LLC the following Monday. She has 4 clients within 2 weeks, business owners who worked with Raymond for years, who always noticed that the competent voice on his team calls was a woman named Victoria, and who are relieved, it turns out, to finally hire her directly. She does not feel triumph. She feels the specific satisfaction of something landing exactly where she aimed it. Now ask yourself something honestly, and this is the part of the story most people skip past. If you disappeared from your own life tomorrow, how much of what the people around you depend on would simply stop working? Drop your answer in the comments. You might surprise yourself. Amber Nicole Reeves sends a message through a mutual contact 7 months later. Not an apology, not exactly, but a question, the kind that only gets asked when someone has been sitting alone with something too heavy to keep carrying quietly. The message reads, "Did you know when you were in it how much of it you were holding up?" Victoria reads it twice. She thinks about the spreadsheets, the medication reminders, the 12 years of dry cleaning schedules and contractor relationships and insurance renewals and birthday gifts Raymond received credit for. She writes back, "Not at first, then I did, and I kept going anyway. That is the part I am still figuring out." 3 days after that message, Victoria gets a call from Dale, Raymond's contractor. Raymond has not returned his calls in 2 weeks. The Atlanta warehouse project is stalled. Dale heard through the network that Victoria is running her own firm now. He asks if she is taking clients. Oh, she is. Dale becomes client number 7 before the end of that week. He mentions her to 2 other contractors who worked Raymond's portfolio for years. Both of them always knew who actually picked up the phone when something went wrong on a job. Victoria schedules their onboarding calls for Monday morning and writes both names in her planner, the same handwriting she used for 12 years to hold up Raymond's entire operation. The difference is that this time her name is on the cover of the planner, not his. Raymond calls Victoria once on a Sunday evening. She sees his name light up the screen. She already knew this call was coming. She had noted the date in her planner 3 weeks earlier with a single line. He calls when the investment restructuring hits month 4 and the reality lands. She lets it ring. She does not feel the pull she half expected to feel. She feels nothing except the quiet confirmation that she read him correctly, all the way down to the day. He does not leave a voicemail. Men like Raymond never do. A voicemail is a record. A voicemail is something that can be used against you. She sets the phone face down on the balcony railing and looks out at the Atlanta skyline. The rosemary plant is doing well. She pinches a small sprig, rolls it between her fingers, breathes it in. She is not finished building what comes next, but she can already see exactly what it is going to be. 13 months after Victoria found that folder, Raymond Calloway loses the Buckhead property. Not in court, not dramatically. He simply cannot cover the carrying costs once the co-ownership settlement processes and Victoria's share is separated out. The building goes to a buyer Raymond has been trying to avoid for 3 years, a competitor who has been circling that address since 2021. Patricia Greer sends Victoria a one-line text the morning it closes. He just sold Buckhead. Thought you should know. Victoria is in a client meeting when the text comes through. She reads it under the table, sets her phone face down, and keeps talking. She does not miss a single word of the presentation. When the meeting ends, she shakes hands with the 2 new clients she just signed, both of them former vendors from Raymond's network who came to her directly, and walks to her car. She sits there for a moment, not in grief, not in satisfaction, in something quieter and more permanent than either of those things. She thinks about the first time she walked through that Buckhead building with Raymond before the deal closed, when he asked her to review the lease terms because he trusted her eye more than his own attorneys. She found 3 clauses that would have cost him the building inside of 5 years. She flagged every one. He fixed them. He closed the deal. He never mentioned it again. The building stood for 12 years because of what she caught in a lease. She was never officially paid to read. She starts the car and drives to her office, on the 14th floor of a building in Midtown, with her firm's name on the door and 9 clients on her roster as of this morning. On a Thursday, 13 months after finding the folder, Victoria Calloway sits across from a features editor at an Atlanta business publication. The story he wants to write is about women building independent financial firms from scratch. He found her through 3 of her clients. He does not know the full history, and she does not offer it. What she offers is this: 12 years managing one of the most complex private portfolios in the Southeast, her own firm, 9 clients, 100% retention. He asks what her edge is. She thinks about the empty witness line at the bottom of page 4. I pay attention, she says, to everything, especially what other people assume just runs itself. He writes it down word for word. The meeting ends on time because she scheduled it that way. She has a client call at 11, a contract review at 2, and dinner with Denise at 7. Her phone buzzes. A new inquiry, a referral from one of the 9. She reads it, types a reply, and slides the phone into her bag. Here is what this story is really about. We spend so much time watching the person at the front of the room, the one giving the speech, signing the deal, taking the credit. We almost never ask who made sure the microphone was on, the contract was correct, and the right people were in the room. Victoria knew. She had always known. She just stopped making it easy for someone else to take that knowledge for granted. The greatest power you will ever have is not in what you own. It is in what you know, what you built, and what you choose to carry with you when you walk out the door. If this story hit something real for you, share it right now, because someone in your life needs to see it today and they are waiting for you to send it. Drop a comment and tell us, what is the one thing in your home, your job, or your relationship that would completely fall apart if you simply stopped showing up? Subscribe if you are not already here. We tell the stories that remind people exactly who they are.